The entire business is at a crossroads, and Cillian Murphy reveals Hollywood's wicked deeds to abuse its authors. Everyone knows Hollywood is abusing its writers. Cillian Murphy made his acting debut in Oppenheimer, but his notoriety also stems from his criticism of Hollywood's nefarious efforts to exploit its creators. Prior to going into the specifics, ensure that you never miss a video when it is posted. Click the subscribe button to learn what's really happening in Hollywood. As tens of thousands of Hollywood actors joined screenwriters in the first industry-wide strike in more than 60 years today, the American film and television industries are anticipated to come to a grinding halt. Due to the breakdown of contract negotiations between the union's negotiating committee and the Association of Motion Picture and Television Producers, 160,000 Screen Actors Guild members were recently slated to stop working. During a press conference to announce the strike, Union President Fran Drescher said, "We are the victims here. We are being victimized by a very greedy entity. I am shocked by the way the people we have been doing business with are treating us. I cannot believe, quite honestly, how far apart we are on so many things. How they plead poverty and claim to be losing money left and right while giving hundreds of millions of dollars to their CEOs is disgusting. Shame on them, they stand." Drescher is a fearless and persuasive speaker, which SAG has going for them in the battle for hearts and minds. "I am also shocked by the way the people we have done business with have behaved. Another advantage SAG has is that the studio executives opposing them in their contract discussions have not missed an opportunity to mess up. You might wonder why the government isn't criticizing movies. Directors' donations from a red carpet in London to studios in Los Angeles. Actors are walking off the job here in Hollywood, as the Association of Motion Picture and Television Producers, AMPTP, also appears to have overestimated their own ability and charisma while underestimating the creatives who are essential to their industry. They come across as cartoonishly wicked, the kind of villains that would need to be rewritten from the screenplay because they are too unlikable. People who are paid millions to operate media firms ought to be more skilled at media, but Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, and Matt Damon left the screening with the intention of supporting colleagues who are struggling to make a living. There will be no more red carpet appearances, and promotional events will come to an end. It's the classic actor thing, you know, but similar demands were made during the contract discussions between the unions that represented authors and actors. Both horses and cars needed safeguards against having their members replaced by artificial intelligence that was less capable but significantly more affordable. Both unions have been successful in persuading the public that they believe corporate greed is exploiting them, and that these issues pose an existential danger to the creative industries as a whole. The future that he has rests with these two ladies, and he must defend them in order to survive, beyond waiting until all union members die of starvation before leaving their Brentwood bunkers and visiting the graveyard of authors and performers to produce their own adaptation of the next Yellowstone. Just a tiny bit. I'm exaggerating. The goal of the movie industry executives in negotiations, according to members of the APT earlier this week, was to let it bleed out until union members began losing their homes and apartments. According to an insider, this claim was made to a Deadline reporter for an odd reason. Mass evictions were an evil that was necessary but terrible. According to the report, the studios and streamers' next supposition is that financially constrained authors will visit WGA leadership and demand they resume discussions before what may end up being a very frosty Christmas. Their PR tactic is to threaten to destroy Christmas. Who thought this was a good idea? When I read the Deadline story, which is published by Penske Media Group, a sizable multimedia conglomerate, and the publisher of the journal, it didn't appear like a hit piece. A voice that key business people can easily reach. Additionally, these dreadful unnamed studio execs were providing on the record, although anonymous remarks to a writer writing an article on difficult labor negotiation, not taking part in talks overheard on the ACLA, the studio's public admission that their strategy was to be super evil. You're always learning every single job you're learning. And no matter who you're working with, but you're right, you're working with these was seen by some observers as a negotiating ploy. But in what world is threatening to make people homeless because they want to see more of the profits generated? Buy material that they wrote something that will win anybody over who is this, for if the intention was to frighten the authors, it failed. If the intention was to convince SAG members to change their 98 strike authorization vote, it failed within 24 hours. Following the article's publication deadline, included a remark from an AMP representative, emphasizing that those villainous CEOs didn't speak for the group, and that in reality, the movie executives intended to revive the industry. The APT's public relations flaws have drawn attention to how exploitative the current entertainment business framework is to those who produce entertainment. The deadline writer also permitted anonymity to the source of the quotation. Everything you need to know about the SAG strike is something that anyone can understand. Did you know that Disney CEO Bob Iger has a salary of $27 million? And that sometimes writers of very successful series have to drive Uber to make ends meet? I didn't know if the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery had been more keen to bargain with the people that make up the $39.3 million in remuneration that he receives until the actress Streisand made headlines about their own personal wealth. Do AMP members truly believe that if they wait long enough, writers and actors who cannot afford to buy a home in Los Angeles will stop being incensed that the corny Wharton earning off their labor has their own aircraft, and will stop being incensed that creatives cannot be replaced and only one friend dresser exists? Boston University students would have known to heckle him when he appeared at their commencement. Jess Armstrong is a unique individual. After seeing firsthand how inept entertainment executives are at managing their own images and creating a cohesive marketing strategy, Quinta Brunson is the only person who can see what could and perhaps should be done by robots. Just imagine how much money studios could save if they eliminated just one Zazzle item from their balance sheet anyway. Final question. Do you believe Hollywood mistreats its writers? How do you believe they should respond? That's it for today, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.